Today I'm going to talk to you about the Victron Off-Grid stuff that we've had installed just a little over a month ago, and give you an update on how we're getting on living completely off-grid with a single battery, an inverter, and all of our electrical equipment working in the van. Having the electrical points, or the 3-pin 230 volt points, live all the time has been an absolute bonus. It really is the most convenient thing. Just this morning I was able to plug the toaster in and toast up a bagel for breakfast. Great, you know. And you wouldn't really, you know, previously with the other inverter I'd had to plug the toaster into a special inverter connected point, and then, you know, switch the inverter on, make sure I managed to switch the inverter off afterwards, and so on and so on. You know, so much more convenient than having that little other inverter in, although it did the same sort of job. But how are we managing to live in the English weather? And you can see or hear the pitter-patter of raindrops on the top of the van. It is August and it's really bad weather. We've had a stormy couple of days with the wind up to gusting up to 60 miles an hour on the coast. You know, so much so that we were unable to drive the van out when we wanted to because it was so windy. It would have been far too dangerous to do so. We had to delay our family visit for a day just to be able to drive to the Telscombe, or the tavern in Telscombe, at Telscombe Cliffs, where we park up when we're down this way visiting the family around the area. So you know, what's it like living off-grid then? Well, it is really great. I really like it, and I love the fact that our solar panels work really well. And you know, I've not pre-arranged this, but so I'm going to tell you exactly what the solar panels are doing right now. It's rainy, it's cloudy, it's reasonably bright, so I don't expect to be getting very much out of the solar panels at all. So let's show you the I call it the factory fit 100 watt solar panel, which is up there. What's that getting at the moment? Well, here it is, and there it is. What I'll do is I'll put a picture on screen. I'll just snap that. So I'll put that on screen now, but I can tell you that the solar panel is in bulk charge mode, so it's pushing what it can into the battery, and it says it's pushing 1.9 amps or thereabouts at about 13 volts. So, you know, it's doing quite well. But that's the original, came with the van solar panel at 100 watts. Now the other one, the brand new one, the Victron 200 watt 24 volt solar panel, that's also in bulk mode, as I expect it to be, so it's pushing charge as much as it can into the battery, and that is currently delivering 4 amps at 12 volts, well, at 13.3 volts actually. So let me just put that on the screen right now, so you can see what the solar panels are doing. However, let me show you what the battery monitoring system is doing. So I have a BMV 712 smart battery monitor, and in this weather, just doing what we normally do on a daily basis, we are sat here at 38% in the battery. It's quite low. You know, we're happy to let it go down to 20%. Let me put that on the screen for you. the net push into the battery is 1.4 amps. So that 38% will gradually, really gradually creep up to, 38.1, 38.5, 38.9, 39% and so on. So we are the battery monitoring system tells me that I can sit here. The good thing is it gives us a time frame of how long the battery will last, and currently time remaining says infinite. So I can sit here like this, doing what we're doing, and I don't think there's anything much going on, so we haven't got any lights on and so on. So there's an infinite amount of time that the battery will last in these conditions. Clearly the conditions will change as the sun goes down and the current into the battery drops, but that's sort of what we do. Now if the battery power does drop, and I've done this a few times, what I do is we'll either drive out and go drive the van to somewhere if we need to go somewhere, so that we know that the Sterling battery to battery DC charger is pushing current into the battery, so giving it a nice boost up of a charge. And occasionally I've seen that on the battery monitoring system while I've been driving along. Wendy's had a look, and on occasion it's pushed as much as 52 amps into the battery as a charge. It does drop down depending on how charged up the battery is. So the more charge, or the state of charge, is higher, the less will be pushed in terms of amps. I'm sure there's some great electrical reason for that. I don't know exactly what it is, but I think as the battery gets full up, it tends to want less and less voltage being pushed in, so it doesn't get overcharged. But when the battery's down at 20-25%, for example, that Sterling charger will push as much as it can that's left over from the alternator that's running. So it's a really good system, even for the UK weather. It's really, really great. Now if overnight, if in the evening the battery's looking a bit low, I will turn the inverter off overnight, because I think overnight with the inverter on and charging up bits and pieces, or maybe a light on occasionally when we wake up and middle of the night and stuff, we use about 10%, 10 to 15% overnight. So let's say 10% is 20 amp hours from the battery. So overnight with all that stuff, and a great chunk of that is the running of the inverter. And of course, we're not always super efficient with how we use that electric. So sometimes we'll have a 230 volt USB charger plugged into the wall, which is taking 12 volt power out of the battery, inverting it to 230 volts, pushing it through that charger, and then that charger is reducing that to 5 volts. Crazy, I know, but it's convenient. But so we use the power to its full extent, really. So what we try to do also is, because we have the fridge running on gas most of the time when we're stationary, one of our pre-flight checks these days is lock the fridge so it doesn't fly open. It has done that in the past when we forgot to lock it. So lock the fridge, there's a little lock tab on the bottom, and then push the power button across to 230 volt. So the little plug sign that normally equates to electric hookup, so that when we start the engine, that Stirling unit pushing power to the battery, and the inverter is delivering a bit of that power out the battery to the fridge, so that we don't deplete the gas while we're, you know, if we're between sites and we're driving for say 3 hours of fridge on electric, and we still end up by the time we get to our new place with a fully charged battery. So when we park up, we then switch it back onto gas, and it's all fine and lovely. So you see, that gives you a bit of an idea of how we're managing in the UK. Now I know some of the comments that we've had in the comment section below have been previously that, well, you know, that solar panel will never get you enough electricity to be off grid all the time. Well, you know, essentially that's true, because if we were sat stationary without any sort of other charging methods, we would have ran the battery out within the first week, but because we drive from place to place, and that's why I had the Stirling unit fitted, it's you know, it's taking that sort of belt and braces approach, and not having to have one of those suitcase generators that you have to, you know, you have to go outside, get it out, plug it into the EHU, electric hookup, fill it with petrol, and then start it up, and so on. So, you know, that's not the way I wanted to go. It's not convenient. It's much more convenient, and I know some of you are going to say, oh, you shouldn't run your engine for long times on tick over, but these engines, it's a van, it's a commercial van. They are actually designed to run on tick over for extended periods because of the start-stop nature of essentially a delivery van, which is what this is. So I'm quite happy to, you know, run the engine for a little bit, just to give that charge into the battery, and I only do that sort of middle of the day time, and keep it on tick over. And if I can't do that, then I'll simply go and drive to somewhere we want to go. Anyway, so that's given you a bit of an update on the state of the off-grid situation. We're very happy with it, and I can wholeheartedly recommend the system that we got from Onboard Energy, and actually the guys at Onboard Energy, they're really good too. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed that. Give us a thumbs up if you did, and don't forget to subscribe and click the bell icon if you want to get reminders for whenever we upload a new video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye bye for now.